know that you're going to enjoy meeting our next guest. He's a lovely man from Boston, Mass., and his credits as a film director include 3 Men and a Baby, The Good Mother, and Funny About Love. On television, he's done The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, Rawhide, amongst many others. On stage, he starred in Fiddler on the Roof and Camelot and Equus, but he's most celebrated for the past 30 years for his starring role in one of the great phenomena of the television age. A huge following, 30 years, almost as long as Coronation Street. Come to think of it, almost as long as The Late Late Show. He's been a star of this series with a fantastic following all over the world. There are people all over the world who actually remember every word he's uttered in this series. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy of Star Trek. Star Trek. There he goes. Wow. How are you, sir? And welcome. Do sit down. It's great to see you. Now, he was in Belfast today, and I'm reliably informed that they signed and sold 800 books in an hour and a half so far.
And I have the writer's cramp to prove it.
Absolutely. Terrific turnout, and you'll get an even bigger turnout because you're signing at Easton's tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
That's right.
So you'll get a big turnout at Easton's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Anyway, welcome to Ireland. They're looking after you well, are they?
Excellent, excellent.
Yes. The Shelburne
Everything
Hotel?
I could have hoped for. It's wonderful.
Yes,
wonderful.
Yeah. Great reception.
It's wonderful. I've looked forward to coming here for many, many years. Never had the opportunity before. It's the first time. And I feel totally at home. I'm very comfortable here.
Now, in 1975, you wrote I Am Not Spock, and your new book is called I Am Spock. This is confusing, Leonard. Could you explain it to us, please?
Well, I have a bit of an identity crisis, don't I? Actually, you have to take the whole thing with a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek, both titles. I wrote the other book 20 years ago as a kind of a discussion about my Star Trek experiences up to that point. And in the book, I wrote a chapter that grew out of an experience that I had when a lady recognized me, and she had a little child with her, and she marched him up in front of me. The boy was about 6 or 7 or 8 years old, and she said, "Look who's standing right in front of you." The little boy stared at me, and there was no response at all. And she said, "This is your favorite person. You watch him every week on television." And he just stared. And then she said, "This is Mr. Spock." And the little boy stared, and I know he was thinking, Mom's lost it, because I didn't look like Spock at all. I didn't have the clothes, didn't have the makeup, didn't have the ears. And I was struck by that. I thought it's very interesting that we use this language sort of shortcut, talking about actors and actresses, identifying with the character. So I wrote a chapter in which I discussed the differences between myself and the character, because I thought people might be interested in that. And I called the chapter I'm Not Spock. And I thought that would be a provocative title for the book, and I was hoping to create some curiosity. And what I created was controversy. People thought that I was distancing myself from the character.
Yes, you didn't want to know, yes.
Yeah.
But 30 years, Leonard, there are actors, as you know, who have been in much shorter series than this, and they've learned to hate the character that they play. Yeah.
Well, that's not the case with me at all. I've had a wonderful, wonderful career as a result of Star Trek and Mr. Spock, I consider the character a very positive role model. I think Star Trek II has a very positive impact on a lot of people. There isn't a day goes by somebody says to me, it's been a positive influence on my life. I'm in the sciences because of Star Trek or whatever, It's a proud thing. I'm very grateful for it, and it's given me the opportunity to do things that I never expected to do in my life, to direct movies and to produce and write movies and turn out books and visit Ireland.
Right. Yeah, so how much of Spock is there in you? How much of you is there in Spock?
Well, we've come to common ground, sort of.
Yeah, you need to.
I think Spock has changed over the course of the 30 years that I've been involved with him, and I think that I've changed. I think I'm much more rational than I used to be, much more logical. And I think Spock
You're supposed to be the most logical man in the world.
You mean Spock?
Spock. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, one of you. One of you.
Well, yeah, either one, both.
Relentless logic.
He's taught me a lot about. But I think it's a very human characteristic. This attempt to balance the right and left brain, the logic versus the emotion. Many times people walk away from situations thinking, "Oh, I wish I hadn't been so emotional. I wish I'd thought clearer about what I was up to." That's a human condition. That's the Spock condition, and Spock has that kind of balance of logic and emotion.
So, what do you reckon is the attraction of this thing?
Star Trek is a society that I think that people find very attractive. It's a society that's very much concerned with ethics, social justice, dignity of the individual. We value diversity in the culture. whether you're tall or short or fat or skinny or male, female, gender, race, creed, religion, doesn't matter. It's a meritocracy. If you're good, you get the job. There's an equality of opportunity. I think it's a very, and it's a peaceful, hopeful outlook for the future where ethics are valued. It's a desirable place to spend some time.